Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, February 10th, 2020 meeting of the Human Rights Commission for the City of Palm Springs. I officially call the meeting to order at 3:01-ish, 3:02. And we will begin today by going right into our program. We have no public comments, and we have all but a couple commissioners who are out sick today. So welcome. Today's meeting is our opportunity for the Human Rights Commission to come together and showcase the diversity of our community, and as a community, understand the values that drive the work that we do as a commission during the year. So thank you all for being with us. Yes. I'd like to welcome, acknowledge our, in the audience with us today, Mayor Jeff Coors, Councilmember Dennis Woods, and Commissioners Nikki Randolph, Terry Andrade, Glenn Flood, and city staff colleagues Dale Cook and Annie Rodriguez, and Jay Verata, Director of Community and Economic Development, and Councilmember Middleton. I'm Rhonda Hart. I'm a resident of Palm Springs, a proud, gay, married Mexican father of two. I serve as the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission. Thank you. Related to our mission to promote and protect the diversity of our community and to improve human relations through education, community awareness, the Human Rights Commission would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on today is very special. And with us to do the land acknowledgement is Margaret Park, the Director of Planning with the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Tribal Council, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the original homelands of the Cahuilla people. We pay our respects to our elders, both past and present, who have stewarded this land for generations since time immemorial. Thank you for being here, and congratulations to the honorees. Thank you.
And now to start our program, we've got a welcome from Mayor Jeff Coors.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is always such an incredible event. You know, one of the things that makes Palm Springs special, I normally say our great weather, but yeah, and our mountains and our environment, it's really the people, it's the community, and so many people who do extraordinary things because of the goodness of their hearts and souls, who give back, who break down barriers. And one of the things that's so special about that, and so special about these awards, is that people see themselves reflected in all the people who are doing such good. And if you don't see yourself reflected, you don't know that you can do that as well. And so first, just congratulate the amazing honorees. I couldn't be more pleased to see who's being honored at this event. And really have a great time, because these are extraordinary people who make our community so wonderful. So thank you very much, and onward we go.
This meeting marks the 27th anniversary of the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission. And as an introduction, here's a short video about the commission.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ted Fox. I just have to say thank you to Ron and to the Human Rights Commission. I am so honored and humbled that this is the third year in a row I've been invited to come and sing for this event. I'm really happy to see everybody again. So we're going to open with a classic that I am certain most of you know. Feel free to join in and clap and dance. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Well, I got a hammer, and I got a bell, and I got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for clapping along. That was nice.
Thank you, Ted and Joe on guitar. We appreciate that. Joe Musser, who has been here for a couple years with us, and Ted, as he acknowledged, his third year. So thank you for coming back. We appreciate that. Today is all about community. We celebrate the accomplishments and achievements with the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission presentation of the Community Service Awards. The city, our community, organizations, and every individual play a critical role in ensuring fundamental rights are realized for all residents. Since the Commission was established 27 years ago with a mandate to monitor the city's performance in meeting its human rights obligations, our role then and now is to promote. She's queuing up the logo back on screen. Our role then and now is to promote respect for the rights and dignity of everyone in Palm Springs and to work with others to help build communities that are fair and inclusive. This is our backbone of the Human Rights Commission. Through the years, when people have faced discrimination, harassment, or human rights breaches, the Commission has been there to provide information and to mediate complaints. Many positive changes have taken place, but today, the political climate tells us that we see real changes remain. Human rights is not ancient history. It's about today's reality of suffering and unjust actions. We seek constructive, respectful conversations to try and bridge these differences. It's not only the government and private sector. We all have a role to account for compliance with human rights laws and basic principles that prohibit discrimination on grounds of age, sex, race, color, religion, national origin, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, or disability. At all times, our vision must remain focused. Working together, we make human rights a reality for everyone, everywhere, every day. The Commission has engaged in the community from the very beginning. In October of 1993, the Human Rights Commission led discussions on racial tension in the community. We facilitated communication between Sunline and the disability community, and we held a public forum on the media and discrimination. Early areas of focus for the Commission included domestic abuse, hate crimes, protection of senior citizens, and access to housing for all. In 1999, the Commission was instrumental in working with the City Council to adopt the Declaration Policy for the Protection of Human Dignity and Prevention of Hate Crimes. The next year, the Domestic Partnership Ordinance was presented to Council and approved on January 5, 2000. This culminated the efforts of the Human Rights Commission to address homeless issues in the city. On May 3, 2000, the City Council then adopted a policy for addressing the issues of poverty and the homeless. The Commission has provided community education, training, and forums where numerous topics have been addressed, including homelessness, mental illness, elder abuse, supporting caregivers, preventing domestic abuse, the DREAM Act, women's participation in city government. We've responded to important issues such as 9/11 and the tragedy of increased substance abuse among young people through thought-provoking and emotional forums. In 2002, the Commission was the first to establish the position for youth representatives to serve, and that tradition continues today. After laws passed in 2000 and 2001 by the state, mandating school districts to provide safe school environments for all students, the Commission led the effort to provide training to Palm Springs High School students so they could establish the first gay-straight alliance on campus. The Commission even assisted with submitting the application so the campus would be recognized as part of the national GSA network. The Commission was also actively engaged in the Hate-Free Millennium Mural Project at the Ramon Academy, which was dedicated in December of 2002. Ongoing opportunities to educate have included presentations on religious intolerance, women's issues, the Patriot Act, civil liberties, hate crimes, gay veterans, court-appointed special advocates, ageism, cultural proliferancy, if it's easy for me to say, isn't it? Human trafficking, gender-neutral bathrooms, transgender rights, racism in our community, and persons with disabilities. Reaching others by hosting forums in recent years has included discussions on immigration, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, Human Rights Month, and assisting senior citizens. In early 2017, the Homelessness Subcommittee report was submitted to City Council by then Commissioner Holstage. The report reviewed one of the most referenced concerns over the Commission's 27 years, our homeless population. Our work on the rights of seniors and dependent adults was priority for much of the last of the 2 years. So where does the Commission go from here? Well, this dedicated Commission will go from strength to strength. We are currently learning the challenges LGBT youth encounter in our public schools. We are researching the impact of several pieces of legislation that provide youth with equal access to educational programs at Palm Springs Unified School District. In December, the school district had briefed the commission on current measures our schools have in place to achieve safe and supportive experiences for our youth. Our specific interest is to learn the success and challenges of implementing the Schools Success and Opportunity Act, SES Law, and the Fair Education Act. Since the Community Service Awards were first presented on December 6, 2001, they have held a high standard and a rich history of inspirational and prestigious winners. The 2020 Human Rights Community Service Awards are presented to some extraordinary individuals and an organization who've made outstanding contributions to our community. They shine a light on injustice and give voice to those who are rarely heard. They work to stop racism, to counter age discrimination. They advocate for older people. They promote fair and respectful treatment of women. They fight to end discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. And they work to close the gap on health inequality. If you can say nothing or do nothing, nothing changes. The honorees are not nothing kind of people. They are the heart of our community. Part of that community heart is made up of a leader, a role model, a public servant, and a feminist. Jenny Fote is recognized for serving the community and the city of Palm Springs through her role as a 14-year council member and as executive director of the Mizell Center. While on city council, she was often the city's voice for residents and neighborhoods. She called for the formation of a new legislative body that would function as a neighborhood council and let residents speak with a louder voice. This voice would become 1PS, the Organized Neighborhoods of Palm Springs, which now account for about 50 neighborhood organizations. She has been an advocate for the rights of the underserved and underrepresented people, including spearheading the homelessness subcommittee through the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. She has also been very active in creating the city's animal shelter and leading the way to establish the city's medical marijuana ordinance. A few years have passed since she organized a bus ride for Martin Luther King's March on Washington. But for the last 50 years, her life path has always led her to being involved in broader civil rights and LGBTQ causes and organizations. She was active in campaigns against the Briggs Initiative and Proposition 8, and she previously served as co-chair of the Los Angeles County Commission on HIV/AIDS Services, executive director of Caring for Children and Families with AIDS, and as a regional director of the YWCA. Please welcome today's first honoree, Jenny Fote.
Wow. I'm really honored, and thank you, Ron and Jeff. It's always very strange to me to be honored for something that is just something you need to do. Taking care of people of that I've had the opportunity to be involved with is not something that I do by myself. I am so honored to have my senior staff. I retired from Mizell a year ago, and my senior staff is here and were with me for 8 years of doing the work that we did. But I didn't serve the Meals on Wheels, they did. They created the programs. They helped me in every way. So I stand up here taking credit for work that they did. I learned many years ago that there was that saying that became popular for all the wrong reasons, just say no. I just never learned that. I just always said yes. And you never know where saying yes will bring you. To me, my first saying yes was I was very bored, and I've told this story before, in a job that I had, and my boss asked me to go and meet with this woman who was going to do a picnic for I was working for a school for what they called at the time delinquent youth. And I said, okay, I'll go meet with her, and went and met with her, and later found out as I was meeting with her, I was meeting with Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a patron of that school. At the time, I didn't know who Eleanor Roosevelt really was. And so my life is kind of taking me that way. When Ron talked about the March on Washington. Someone asked me if I would go and help with some buses to this little march they were having for civil rights. And I said, sure. And I ended up organizing all the buses from New York for the March on Washington. Didn't realize how important that was. And I tell you these stories because when people come up to you and ask you to do something and you think, oh, another thing I have to do, it can turn into something that is so much more rewarding to you than it is to anyone else. And so I've gotten back so much in my life from my community service here on the city council, with the homelessness committee, with the animal shelter, with all the things that I've done. I've gotten back, I think, much more than I've given. So thank you very much. I truly appreciate this. This is such an honor for me to be here, but I'm only here because of the work that all of you have done. Thank you.
Our next honoree is the Brothers of the Desert organization. When I learned I would be making the introduction for Brothers of the Desert, I did what most people would do. I Googled them. Please know they are not the monastery in New Mexico desert for men founded in the Benedictine tradition. But where the monastery offers men a spiritual life of work and prayer, our Brothers of the Desert serves a need in our community to celebrate the joy, accomplishments, successes, and to acknowledge the agonies, sorrows, and setbacks, and to shine a light on a historically silent community. Recognized for lifting up and amplifying the voice of the disenfranchised and underrepresented Black community, the Brothers of the Desert organization builds inspirational networks by nurturing, supportive, welcoming, and connecting gay Black men in the Coachella Valley through philanthropy, volunteerism, mentorship, education, advocacy, and social networking. This is not a time to be silent, but more of a time to be active and vocal and to show more visibility. The work of Brothers of the Desert is empowering and engaging, and it engages the community in ways that this year created a space for Black gay men while supporting a scholarship fund, hosting social gatherings to build community, increasing visibility while supporting like-minded organizations such as the L Fund, Palm Springs Women in Jazz, the Palm Springs Black History Committee, and serving on the Community Leadership Council. They've also hosted a one-day wellness summit called Living Your Best Black Gay Life that featured educational workshops, speakers, and a day of networking. Join me not to chant the prayers of the monastery, that's the Google lesson of the day, but to welcome recipients of the 2020 Human Rights Commission Community Service Award, Brothers of the Desert, represented by Acting Chair Tim Vincent.
So first of all, thank you everybody for that, and that was a beautiful introduction, Ron, a really beautiful one. And we need a website. apparently we need a website. I want to again thank the Human Rights Commission for giving us this award. It was really exciting to hear that you were giving us this. We're a pretty new organization, so to get this from you at this point in time was really wonderful to hear your interest in the work that we're doing. This is a group, though. I'm standing up here, but we have a group that has created this, and many of the members of the group are here. So I want them to stand up, say hello, let them know who they are. So because I think that many of you may not know what we do, I'm going to spend my couple of minutes telling you why we decided to do what we are doing, a little bit about what we've done, and then where we're going in 3 minutes. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in 3 minutes. So we have a core group of about maybe 25 to 30 Black gay men who live here in the Coachella Valley, either full-time or part-time, who have attended monthly meetings that we held at the LGBT Center the second Saturday of every month. That group has helped to develop our purpose, our mission, our vision, our values, and then have helped to really lead a number of projects that really actualize those things. Ron just talked about one of them, which was an incredible wellness summit that happened in November with over maybe about 100 people who attended. We had workshops, presentations. It was led off by the incredible Ron Oden, who is here today. So we appreciate that and his work that he did with us. And it's so successful that we're going to do it next year, November 14th, and mark your calendars, 2020. It will be again at the center. But we originally formed this group because many people who live here, who've lived here, many of the group that are part of the group have lived here for decades. Some people are newer to the community. But most of us have felt a sense of isolation, a sense of disconnectedness as we've settled into the community as Black gay men. And we wanted to change those dynamics. And so really one of the reasons why we got together was to change that dynamic and build a more cohesive group with camaraderie, with love, with support. And I cannot be happier to be with this group of guys because they're incredible. They're an incredible group. And they all also bring such talent, skill, and strength to our meetings and to the work that we've been doing that it's been really an amazing thing. And we have such, I think, love and passion for each other that it's really wonderful. So we, again, are a Black gay men's empowerment group, and we're seeking to nurture and support Black gay men and our allies in the Coachella Valley through the things that Ron was just talking about, through advocacy, through mentorship, through education. And we really want to continue to grow in 2020. There's a number of things that you can do to be a part of our group. This is Black History Month. Yeah, I'm letting you know that. Black History Month, you know that. And there's lots of things that have been going on in Black History Month. And there's a couple of things that we're doing specifically and leading. So if you're interested, I'm going to tell you what they are. And you are interested. and I'm going to tell you what they are. You are interested. So one of the things is we're partnering with Lucy and Gail. People probably know who they are, and the Palm Springs Women in Jazz. And we're hosting an event called Meet the Blacks. You heard that? Yes, Meet the Blacks. It's on February 26th. They did it last year. Lots of people came. It's going to be at Oscars at 5:30 to 7:30 on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we have a new event we're really excited about as well. That's going to be at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. It's a film that maybe people have seen, but it's called Brother Outsider. It's the documentary about Bayard Rustin. But what's special about it is we're going to have the director there, and he will do a Q&A with the audience. We're going to have no host bar at the beginning. The film will be at 7:30, and the proceeds will go to Among Friends, which is one of our co-sponsors, and also Brothers of the Desert. So that's February 28th. Come to that. We're also doing a spring fling in May with one of our group members who will be leading that. We're continuing to do scholarship work and also work to really help people who are in need, in emergency funds and stuff. So I would love all of you to join us. The thing I want to make sure that you get to from this is that, everyone is welcome to our social events. This is a group that's led by Black gay men, but everyone is welcome to the social events. And really, we couldn't, be living our best Black gay life without the people that matter to us. Our friends, our families, are the people who lift us up and keep us going, our partners. And so those people, you all, may be of different gender, of different race, of different ethnicity, of different sexual orientation, but you are very important in our lives, and we want you to be at our events. So please join the Brothers of the Desert. Don't look it up on Google. But we have Facebook, Brothers of the Desert. You can go to Facebook, and we are so excited to be growing and for this award. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Terry Andrade, and it's my pleasure to introduce our next honoree. If you've been in Palm Springs, even for a short time, chances are that you benefited from the work of Joy Brown Meredith, who is being recognized today for her leadership and civic involvement spanning more than 3 decades. A downtown business owner for 32 years, Joy has been instrumental in bringing the business community together. She recognized the need for an organization to support and strengthen the city's downtown merchants and services, and she joined the board of Main Street Palm Springs in 1992. Through the years, she has continued to provide the leadership that has established the organization as a pivotal voice in the community. Joy lives her life and operates her businesses on a philosophy of helping yourself, your family, your community, and the world by furthering love and peace. Her kindness, generosity, and energy are limitless. She created Crystal Fantasy as a community center of sorts where people of all races, belief systems, and sexual orientations are welcomed and embraced. Palm Springs, you will agree, is a city like no place else. And I ask you to join me in recognizing my friend, Joy Brown Meredith's contribution as she is presented a 2020 Community Service Award for her commitment. Joy?
Hi, my name is Joy Brown Meredith, and I am truly, truly honored to be here today. And, I was especially happy to see Mayor Ron Oden over there. When my children were growing up, my grandchildren lived with me. One of them is over there, 23 now, but she was 5 then. And every Wednesday night we would watch a council meeting on TV. And so when she would see Mayor Oden, she thought he was a movie star because he had a show on every Wednesday night. And he went to Catherine Finchie's school, and they were so excited to tell me about that because to them, he was a movie star, because that's what we did Wednesday night at the dinner table. We watched the council meeting. So that was pretty fun. So, and I have the opportunity really to work with several people that are award members here. Some people might not know that Ginny is my Gemini twin. We share a birthday. And we've worked together quite a bit on the Medical Cannabis Task Force, on the Homelessness Task Force, and so many of the wonderful things that Ginny's involved in. And the chief of police over here, too. I've been on the police advisory board since 1997. There was 1 year I had to get off of that for something, but I've been on there pretty much. Maybe the old timers might remember that. But yeah, well, look it's legal now, so it's time to forget it. And I see back here not an honoree, but I see Ms. Pearl White back here. Yeah. And Pearl White is a dear friend of my parents who have now passed that I know are taking a look down at this group here today. And I am just so honored to be here. I know I do a lot of work for Main Street, but you know, that's really more about business. What I'm really proud of is the work that I could do in the community to really help others and for people to feel welcome in this town. And also, I do have to say, I am so grateful for my family because if it wasn't for them, I couldn't do the things that I do because they cover for me all the time. I have a wonderful husband, son, 2 daughters. My son-in-law is here with me today, too. And also grandchildren, and I even have great-grandchildren. So we are perpetuating this story here, and they have all been brought up in a community service type of family. And I think that is where this responsibility really lies for me, is to teach my children and my children's children and my children's children's children the importance of community and loving each other, respecting each other, and just trying to bring that out into the world, because each one of us could really make a difference. And I think that is the lesson, certainly the lesson that Ginny spoke about, that is really the lesson is don't just say no. Say yes. You might be making a big difference to somebody. Could be one person, could be a group, it could be the world. So always take those opportunities to do the best that you could do. Thank you so much. It's such an honor. Thank you.
Okay, I have the honor of actually doing 3 awards, so don't pull me off the stage. Only planned on 2, but I get to do 3. So our next honoree is being recognized for his work in making Palm Springs a welcoming and inclusive community that embraces all individuals. In 2015, after 40 years abroad, Rabbi David returned to his native California and settled in Palm Springs with his wife, Sasha. Since his ordination by the Schechter Institute in 1993, Rabbi Lazar has led congregations in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Stockholm, and in Palm Springs, where he currently serves as the spiritual leader of Or Hamabar. I heard today that his congregation affectionately calls him RDL. So, for the future. As an educator, he promotes inclusive Jewish practice and interfaith dialogue. Rabbi Lazar was among the earliest international LGBTQ advocates, performing the first gay wedding in Israel in 2001. many years before same-sex marriage was legal there. His nonprofit service includes the Israel AIDS Task Force, the Jerusalem Open House, and the Rabbinical Assembly. Rabbi Lazar is active in the community, serving with the Transgender Community Coalition and the steering committee of the Reina Chessman Fund, providing support to transgender persons in crisis. In 2005, he received the Yakir Hakela Community Award. Did I do okay on that one? Thank you. By the Aguada, which is Israel's LGBT task force. And he was named Heterosexual of the Year by QX, Sweden's LGBTW magazine in 2012. So the honors just go on and on. Please join me in congratulating Rabbi David Lazar, RDL, as a recipient of the 2020 Community Service Awards. Rabbi Lazar.
If you know it, please join me as we take a moment to appreciate this time, this place. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, shechianu, v'kimanu, v'gianu, lazman hazeh. We give thanks and we give praise to the Creator, to the Holy One, for bringing us, for allowing us to be at this moment, at this time. We hear so many examples of overlapping communities here. We've all worked with each other at different times. And I've only been here for a little bit less than 5 years. And I think all of us understand that whatever we do has to do with the people we do it with. Sasha and I have been blessed with a spiritual community here in Palm Springs, first at Temple Isaiah, and now at Or Hamidbar, Light in the Desert. And perhaps I'll just ask all of you to raise your hand so that people acknowledge we pray together, we study together in order to fix the world together. And there's so many things to fix out here. It's not just homelessness, it's not just interfaith dialogue. And I'll have to tell you, it's not really LGBTQ rights here in Palm Springs. As a heterosexual, as a former heterosexual of the year, very often one might feel in the minority at certain bars and certain restaurants. But there's so much to be done when it comes to racial justice, to mass incarceration, keeping kids out of jail and in school. So much to be done on behalf of those communities that have sought to come to this land, running away from horrible places, only to find shut doors or to find someone knocking on their door at night, pounding on their door at night. My particular role is naturally in the faith world with other members of the clergy, whether it's the Catholic Latino world, whether it's the Baptist and evangelical African American world, or whether it's those that vote for the other guy, those that vote for people who I not only disagree, but have a violent reaction in seeing and hearing and listening, because those are the people that we need to talk to and to work with. So thank you to the committee. Thank you to the members of the City Council for your work in keeping the city running, and to all of you who did this. And thank you for all of you who have shown up here today. Thank you.
Okay, it's me again. I want to acknowledge my colleague and co-commissioner Nikki Randolph, who was going to be doing this today, and she's trusting me to be her voice this afternoon. So I'm going to skip the first part that says I'm Commissioner Nikki Randolph, but it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce to you our next honoree, Katherine the Forest. and I'll tell you a little bit about Katherine before she takes the podium. Katherine is recognized as a seasoned storyteller who has presented lesbian and gay lives with a forthright dignity over a span of more than 3 decades. She's the groundbreaking author of Curious Wine, the Kate Delafield Mystery Series, and the Daughters Science Fiction Series. She's also known as a prolific editor with anthology and nonfiction credits in her own name, as well as the editor of hundreds of novels. Dozens of lesbian writers count her among their mentors. Through her prominence at Naiad Press, she has helped carve out plenty of space on the shelves for lesbian fiction, championing coming out stories and other forms of narrative that increase visibility and make overt the innuendo that marks so much of our literary history. She's widely credited as a founding mother of lesbian fiction writing. Her numerous awards and honors include 5 Lambda Literary Awards, the Golden Crown Literary Society's Trailblazer Award, a Lifetime Achievement from the Publishing Triangle, the Pioneer Award from the Lambda Literary Foundation, and a profile in USA Today. Please welcome Katherine the Forest, a recipient of the award.
I brought something to read because I wrote something to read, I should say, because I'm a writer. I'm deeply, deeply honored by this recognition from a city that's become a national beacon for diversity and inclusiveness. A city increasingly visible during these last years of our national nightmare. I'm proud to be here today as a representative of my generation, a generation of pioneers and heroes, some of whom are in this room today, all of whom are being honored today. I've been lucky and privileged to be among the writers who wrote the stories of our lives during one of the most tumultuous periods in our history, who wrote the books that told us who some of us were, how some of us lived, the books that led us to look for and find each other, and when we found each other, our great civil rights movement was born. At 80 years of age, I know one thing for sure, that we have left a great legacy to all of the LGBT people coming after us. More than our books and our music and our films, we are leaving the legacy of the example of our lives, that we came together in equality under a rainbow flag representing the only subculture in the world that welcomes all genders, all races, all colors, all creeds. A flag that represents the world as it should be. Even with voices of bigotry ascendant in the land, we know what can never be taken away from us, our visibility. Now that we have found each other, we will never, ever again be stuffed back into our soul-destroying closets. We will go on from here together. Thank you to the Human Rights Commission for this great award. I treasure every day that I live in this beautiful Coachella Valley. I treasure the city of Palm Springs. I treasure my family and friends here today, my Palm Springs family and friends. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to the greatest treasure of all, my spouse, Joe Herkus, who's been with me for 30 amazing years of our journey through LGBT history. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenn Flood. I have the honor to introduce our next honoree, Palm Springs Chief of Police, Brian Reyes. Chief Reyes is recognized by the Human Rights Commission for increasing the presence, visibility, and communication from the police department in the community. We recognize his commitment to and understanding of the vital role community trust and partnerships play in policing. Chief Reyes is constantly striving to present the department as a collaborative and supportive partner for all community members. Under his leadership, the department is actively involved with all neighborhood communities, and they engage and partner with civic groups and individual citizens to achieve a shared goal of creating a safer and better Palm Springs for all. As chief, he is particularly recognized for combating extremism, bigotry, hatred, and for his commitment to police training and installing an accepting and welcoming organization culture for all. We applaud the chief for recognizing shortcomings of the past, acknowledging where the department has come, and for leading the way in building public trust and regaining and maintaining community confidence by giving them a voice, treating them fairly, and treating them with dignity and respect. An investigation into the 2015 attack on prominent LGBT activist George Zander and his husband earned the police department, the Palm Springs Police Department, accolades from the Anti-Defamation League. Under Chief Reyes' watch, the department was recognized as an agency that goes above and beyond their job descriptions in combating extremism, bigotry, and hatred. Please welcome my friend, the 2020 recipient of the Human Rights Commission Community Award, Chief Brian Reyes.
Wow, what an absolute honor. You know, sitting there and witnessing all the other honorees come up and seeing the diversity in all those that are selected speaks volumes about this city and what we represent as a whole. When I became chief, my intent from the onset was to just be able to make sure we treat everybody fairly, let everybody feel comfortable in our city in their own skin and who they are, and create opportunity for everyone. And when you honored me with this award today, it's not just me. You honored the Palm Springs Police Department and the incredible men and women that delivered on all my promises. So, you know, that's where it's at. It's creating those partnerships for the foreseeable future. And those that know me, I'm willing to partner with anybody, anywhere, to make this the best community as possible for everybody to enjoy. Thank you.
So our next honoree, see if you can guess. How many of you know, or do you have a 20-foot tall balloon in your likeness that has appeared in parades throughout Southern California? Well, if it's not you, then there's one person in this audience whose hair is sky high to the heavens. Brian Wanzek, AKA Bella DeBall. Brian and Bella are the ultimate when it comes to community volunteering. Brian has served the Palm Springs community for over 20 years by volunteering, entertaining, and helping to raise funds for many organizations, groups, and charitable events. He's demonstrated a history of advocacy and volunteerism for the LGBTQ and HIV/AIDS movement. He's recognized for helping others and bringing the community together. One can better understand how appreciated and loved Brian's service is in the community by seeing the slate of honors and awards that have been bestowed on him. Brian has a star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars, received the Safe Schools Desert Cities Champion of Youth Award for LGBTQ youth in the desert, recipient of the Herb Lazenby Community Service Award from the AIDS Assistant Program, and the prestigious Advocate for Equality Award from the Human Rights Campaign. He has also received honors from Desert AIDS Project, celebrating everyday heroes. Other awards include being recognized with the Outstanding Community Service Leader Award from Desert Business Association and being named the inaugural Community Sweetheart at the 25th Festival of Lights Parade for the City of Palm Springs. He's the Volunteer of the Year from Greater Palm Springs Pride and recipient of the PS I Love You Award from the Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce. Brian can be seen supporting dozens of organizations and events during the year, including Bella DeBall hosting Drag Queen Story Hour at the Palm Springs Public Library. Join me in welcome Brian Wanzak, Bella DeBall, recipient of the 2020 Community Service Award. Congratulations, congratulations.
I usually have a clipboard, so I have to have a piece of paper. After that fabulous speech, Ron, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. Thank you for this very special award and honor. Thanks to the Human Rights Commission and the City of Palm Springs. I'm in awe with the other honorees. I feel so nothing compared to all you have done for everyone. Give yourself a round of applause, all the other honorees. I really want to thank and salute all the organizations, the clubs, the businesses, the committees, and the teams that I've had the honor to work on and for and with. I share this beautiful plaque with the many wonderful people who have shared my stages, like Carol Kaminas right here, my projects, my programs, my teams, my committees over the years. Thanks to all of you. And special thanks and remembrance to my parents and my family who instilled in me the spirit of volunteering and caring and sharing and being part of a community. I can remember way back as a little kid helping my dad count pennies and nickels and dimes for UNICEF Halloween collection, and bingo calling that he did with the church group at our bazaar. So it just kind of way back and just blossomed and mushroomed to make big hair is happy hair, and don't be afraid to come out of your shell. I'm still working on it, but Ron commented on my rainbow snake shoes, so. And special thanks to my partner Ken and our dear friends Carol and other ones here for their support, their assistance, the encouragement, and for being here today. And as Ron mentioned, I'm thrilled to be with the Palm Springs Public Library and the Drag Queen Story Hour. I welcome all of you to come there. It's not just for kids, it's for every age, every persuasion. In fact, a few times ago we had a family, I think they're back over here, a couple of them. We had 13 from one family. We had grandparents, parents, cousins, aunts, uncles. It was so touching, and I think they're still sitting back there someplace. Anyway, it is so wonderful to be connected and associated and a part of this great city, this great community, all the organizations, all the things that happen here. Let's make it bigger and better, and thank you all very much.
Next, we have Ron Oden, who's one of the founding members of the Blue Ribbon Committee that made the recommendation to the City Council to establish the Human Rights Commission. Ron would go on and later serve as council member, and he was the first African American and the first openly gay man to hold the office of mayor of Palm Springs. Ron's career in community and political involvement started in 1990 when he moved to Palm Springs and he began teaching as an adjunct professor at College of the Desert. His concern about educational and social issues led him to enter politics. In 1995, only 5 years after he arrived in the city of Palm Springs, he was elected to city council. On council, it wasn't long before he had the reputation as the council's advocate of social causes. In 2003, Ron Oden was elected mayor of Palm Springs. His election was significant because both of his race and his sexual orientation. Ron was the first openly gay African American elected to lead a California city. He served our city with distinction. As city council member and mayor, Ron Oden worked tirelessly to promote respect for diversity through organizations such as the Palm Springs Human Rights Task Force, the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission, the Palm Springs branch of the NAACP. Ron Oden is also noted for his support of Equality California and community organizations such as the United Way of the Desert, Shelter from the Storm, and Coachella Valley Counseling. One of his achievements was working on making the first Veterans LGBT Memorial a reality. He was honored in 2007 with the 300th Golden Star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. Other organizations he has worked with include Coachella Valley Association of Governments, Sunline Transit Board, the Negro Academic Scholarship Fund, and the College of the Desert Faculty and Staff Diversity Task Force. We are proud and honored to present Ron Oden with the 2020 Community Service Award.
It feels strange to be in this room. I haven't been here too many times since I left office, and this brings back so many memories when I was first sworn in right there. And when we finally moved most of our Human Rights Commission meetings were still in the large conference room, but it brings back so many memories. And I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude. There are only 2 members from that original Blue Ribbon Task Force that made the recommendation to the city to establish a commission and to adopt an ordinance that are still around. Well, maybe 3. But what I don't see very often in the city. But I think about those times and how we labored over the mission statement for the Human Rights Commission. And to see it functioning today, I know so many of the people who were founding members would be so proud of the work that you are doing. And for the other honorees today, you go. I mean, you've done so many things and so much to honor this city and to make it the wonderful place and community that it is today. So I thank you. I thank you as a citizen. I thank you as a former elected official in this city for your work and for your contributions. But this time also reminds me of so many faces, the Browns, and how encouraging they were along the way. It reminds me of Hal Ball. And Hal couldn't be here today, but he's one of my nearest and dearest who supported me in so many ways all along the way. And he and his partner passed away a few years ago, 3 years ago, and they were together for 57 years and as an interracial gay couple. And so they've had some very interesting experience, and Hal is struggling. So I was really hoping he could be here today. And to so many other friends, Jimmy and Miguel, who taught me how to be gay. My bad. But look, this is a wonderful city, and it touches in so many very special ways. From the mayor, his parents, his family that I've known for so long, just so many people, and I'm so thankful. It reminds me of the words of Dale Wimbrow. It talks about the man in the mirror. And he says, "You may get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world will make you king or queen for a day. Then go to the mirror and look at yourself to see what that guy has to say. For it isn't your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, upon whose judgment you must stand. For the fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest. And he's with you clear down to the end. And you've passed your most difficult, dangerous task when the guy staring back is your friend. Now, you may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum and think you're a wonderful guy, but the guy in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. And you can fool the whole world right on down to the end and get pats on the back as you pass. But your final reward will bring heartache and tears if you've cheated the guy in the glass." Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. We'll take this. For what it's worth, y'all won't, I don't know that any of you will know this one. It's hard to believe. I wrote this 29 years ago, and it's still valid. If you believe in equality for all, if you believe that love is all we've got and all that matters, then you are one of us. She works in a bank, and she runs their computers. She has held this job for years. She is loved and respected by her peers. She is strong, she is proud. Hear her voice cry out loud as she stands up tall and proclaims to them all that she is one of us. He drives a truck, and he loves the open highway. Through the endless miles, he keeps time to the country music playing in his mind. He is strong, he is proud. Hear his voice cry out loud as he stands up tall and proclaims to them all that he is one of us. We are doctors, we are soldiers, we are athletes and artists. We encompass every color, every kind. So don't kid yourself into thinking that you are all alone. We are everywhere, and loneliness is only in your mind. I try to sing about things I believe in, so I hope you like my song. And if you believe, won't you sing along? I am strong, I am proud. Hear my voice cry out loud as I stand up tall and proclaim to them all that I am one of us, and I am proud. Hear my voice cry out loud as I stand up tall and proclaim to them all that I am one of us. Ooh, yeah, I am one of us. And I'm proud to say I am one of us.
Once again, thank you, Ted Fox and Joe Musser. We appreciate you being with us today. Human rights advocacy is not for the faint at heart, but I urge you all to speak up. In an age of so-called reimagined truth, it's more important than ever that we counter the distortion of facts and abuse of rights, the spin in the media and in politics, by presenting the evidence and standing up for the rule of law. Human rights is not the domain of the left or right politics. They're there to protect the most vulnerable in our communities, to equalize the imbalances between the powerful and the powerless, and to advance the fairness and equality for all of us. In these days, we need to reach back to those we've left behind to ensure they have a voice and they are integrated into all that our society can offer. Every person, no matter their background, has dignity and value. Everyone has human rights, and those human rights must be protected. On behalf of the Commission, our gratitude and thanks to all of the honorees who are contributing to advancing human rights in their own way. And thank you all in the audience for supporting the honorees. We conclude by saying it's a privilege for myself and our other commissioners to serve for the City of Palm Springs on the Human Rights Commission. And special thanks to our city liaisons, Dale Cook and Annie Rodriguez, who keep the commission going strong. Thank you all. We hope you have a wonderful afternoon. The commission will now be adjourned to a regular meeting Monday, March 9, 2020 at 3 p.m. in the large conference room at City Hall. Thank you all very much.